a lot of players available in this year's trade deadline. And you guys know I love to do rankings, I love to give you opinions, I love to tell you who's the best, who's the worst. So I'm going to tell you every player that's available at the trade deadline for every position in Major League Baseball. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. That's the best way to show your support. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy the content. If you love baseball, this is the place to be. Make sure to hit that sub button. Tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and give you my trade deadline predictions. You don't want to miss that. And then on Sunday, I'm going to be ranking the top 50 players available at the deadline. You're not going to want to miss those. Remember to get in the comment section down below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my choices, as well as follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description. And you know the drill. If you want to buy any tickets to sports games, make sure to head on over to SeatGeek and use the code Giraffe at checkout to save yourself $20 off your first purchase. So let's start off today's video by going over the best starting pitcher, probably the deepest position at the deadline this year. And while there are a lot of names floating around that could be available at the deadline, I think the best one has to be Noah Syndergaard. Yes, you heard that correctly. Apparently, the New York Mets are going to trade Noah Syndergaard at the deadline this year. It seems almost inevitable. Now, while his numbers in 2019 have definitely been a bit inconsistent, not where you like to see them, his talent is absolutely through the roof. And if you look at some of the seasons in Noah Syndergaard's past, you go, yeah, he's clearly a very good pitcher. Whatever team acquires him is going to be getting a Cy Young caliber pitcher to add into their rotation for the next couple seasons. His talent is just that good. A career ERA at 3.21, a whip at 1.158, a strikeout to walk ratio of 4.60, strikes out nearly 10 batters a game, doesn't give up a lot of home runs, walks barely anybody. He's a flamethrower. He throws 100 miles an hour. He's got a hard slider, nice curveball, a great mix of pitches. 2019 is not his year. It's definitely the worst of his career. 4.33 ERA with a 1.263 whip, but that's the worst he's ever pitched. Otherwise, you're getting a pitcher with an ERA probably below 3 and someone who can headline the front of your rotation for years to come. At the relief pitcher position, there was a couple different ways I could have gone, but I ended up landing on Chris Martin of the Texas Rangers. Now, I could have said Sam Dyson, I could have said Tony Watson, but it doesn't look like the Giants are necessarily going to be sellers. And for the Rangers, who are not really a playoff team this year, I think if you can move Chris Martin, it's time to do so. Now, he is 33 years old, but the team that gets him has control over him until 2024, and he's had a really nice season in Texas this year. A 3.16 ERA in 36 games, and a 1.00 whip. He strikes out 10 per 9 innings, less than a walk per 9 innings, 8.3 hits per 9 and 1.9 home runs, but the home runs and hits you can expect to be high because he does play in Texas. He has a strikeout to walk ratio of 13.67. All of these numbers are career bests. Chris Martin seems to be a little bit of a late bloomer, but for a relief pitcher that you can probably not trade too much for, he's a really good pickup and the best relief pitcher I think available at the trade deadline this year. Which moves us on to closers, and I think the best one you can get at the deadline right now is going to be Kirby Yates of the San Diego Padres. Talk about having a career year. Kirby Yates is going off in 2019, has to be the best closer in baseball thus far. In 41 appearances, he has a 1.05 ERA and a whip at 0.814. He's striking out nearly 15 batters per 9 innings, walking just under 2, giving up almost no home runs and no hits, 5.4 hits per 9, 0.2 home runs per 9. He's only allowed 5 earned runs this year through 43 innings pitched. This coming off an extremely strong 2018 where he had an ERA at 2.14 and a whip again under 1. And with Kirby Yates, he's not just a rental. You have control over him until the 2021 season. So for a team looking to make a push the next couple years, you can go out and get your closer right now with Kirby Yates. And I think the Padres would be willing to move him considering that they're not really going to be using him this year. So if you're a team who needs a closer, the Red Sox, Kirby Yates might be your guy. Now for the catcher position, there's not a whole lot of catchers available. So the one I'm going to go with here is Wilson Ramos. The reason I think he's available is because he has a pretty good contract right now. He signed until 2020 with a team option in 2021. And he's only making about $9.5 million per season, which is cheap. For a catcher, he swings the bat pretty well. He's hitting .260 with 9 homers, 8 doubles, and 44 RBIs on the year. .260 batting average, .336 on base, .382 slugging, and a .718 OPS. Now, yes, these numbers aren't going to, shock you. They aren't going to make you go crazy. But if someone needs a catcher with a little bit of offensive production, he might be your guy. Defensively, he's not great, and he can't really run. So you might wonder how he's the best, but at the end of the day, there's just not a whole lot of catching available at the deadline this year, so your options are limited. For first base, I'm not necessarily sure if he will be traded, but I'm going to pick Jose Abreu for this one because if he is available, he's definitely the best first baseman on the market. Now, Abreu is obviously on a very young White Sox team who's in the midst of a rebuild, and he is a free agent at the end of the season. So for a team who needs a quick fix at first base, a power bat in their lineup, Jose Abreu seems to be a pretty good option. So far on the year, he already has 22 homers, 22 doubles to give him 72 RBIs, hitting .269 with a .307 on base, .488 slugging, and a .795 OPS. He's not really much of a first baseman anymore. His defense is definitely lacking. He's probably more of a DH. So an American League team might be interested in picking him up because his bat still is very good. Averages right around 30 home runs, 100 RBIs on the season. While his batting average has dipped the last couple seasons, he still hits for a pretty decent average, and his slugging slugging is still pretty high. So even though he's a rental, I still think Jose Abreu's got to be the best first baseman at the trade deadline. Now at second base, I'm going with the player who's played a little bit more right field this year, but really he's a second baseman, and that's Whit Merrifield. What makes Whit Merrifield really enticing to teams is not only that he's a great player, but his contract is amazing. 4 years, $16.25 million is what he's owed, with a team option in 2023. The Kansas City Royals could trade him and get a whole lot back for this guy. He's an all-star caliber player. All the guy does is hit, and he's having a great year again in 2019. 12 homers, 28 doubles, 9 triples, and 52 RBIs, along with 15 stolen bases. He's hitting .304 with a .358 on base, .492 slugging, and an OPS at .850. You could argue this is the best year of his career. He's going off. And for a Royals team who's rebuilding, this is a guy that you move and you can get a ton back for, and for a team that's competing, you get an all-star right into your lineup for the next 4 years. So I know he's playing a little bit more right field these days, but he's really a second baseman, and I had to get him into this video. For third base, again, not a lot of availability there, so I went with Todd Frazier, which, yeah, it's very weird to put him in a best video. But for third baseman right now, he seems to be the guy. He's a free agent at the end of the year, so it's definitely a rental, and he's not having a horrible year. He's been awful since the All-Star break, but his numbers aren't bad. 13 homers, 8 doubles, 2 triples with 39 RBIs. He's hitting .244, which is higher than his career average. .328 on base, again higher than his career average. .436 slugging, which is a little lower, and a .764 OPS, which is basically his career average. With Todd Frazier, you're getting a right-handed power bat that can play third and first base. For most teams, he's probably going to be a depth piece that you throw on the bench, but in a league where there aren't a lot of third basemen available, he's the best one you got. At the shortstop position, I'm going to go with Freddie Galvis of the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are a young team. They're rebuilding, and they got a guy by the name of Bo Bichette in the minor leagues who needs to be called up sooner than later. He's a shortstop, which means he takes Freddie Galvis' spot, and Galvis is a really easy player to move. Freddie Galvis is a free agent at the end of the 2019 season, and he has a team option for 2020, which makes it very enticing for teams to possibly give him a shot, and he's only making like $5 million. And his numbers have actually been really good this year, I think, pretty solid. 15 homers, 20 doubles, a triple, and 47 RBIs. He's hitting .268 with a .303 on base, .442 slugging, and a .745 OPS. All career highs for him. Not to mention he's actually a pretty solid shortstop. He does a good job over there. So he's not going to go ahead and jump into a team and make them go from, you know, pretender to contender. But on a team that's got a solid lineup, needs a little bit more depth, maybe a little fill in here and there, Freddie Galvis is a good choice. To the outfield now, starting off in left field, and I'm staying to the position here, so you got to play left field, which means Corey Dickerson's going to be our choice. Corey Dickerson's always been a pretty nice hitter. Had a great year in 2018 with the Pirates where he finished with an .804 OPS. He was an all-star with Tampa Bay in 2017. The guy has clearly shown that he has a bat that can play Major League Baseball. But what really took a step forward last year is when he won the Gold Glove and had one of the best defensive seasons of his career. Now this year has been hampered by injuries. He's only played in 41 games, so his stats are really nothing to brag about, but he is hitting .308 with a .370 on base, .508 slugging, and an .879 OPS. He's a good left-handed bat, has a little bit of power, and he's a free agent at the end of the year, so he's a rental. You won't have to give up a whole lot for him, and you get a nice bat that you can add into the corner and outfield spot in your lineup. I think Corey Dickerson's a solid player, and definitely someone that your team could be going after. For the center field position, heading back out to Kansas City to talk about Billy Hamilton. Now, by no means do I think that Billy Hamilton is a great player. In fact, Billy Hamilton actually infuriates me to watch. But when you're talking about strictly center fielders, he's probably one of the only guys that's available that really does have any value. He was a highly rated prospect at one point in his career. He's never panned out, but you've heard teams go after these kind of players before and turn them around. He's blazing fast. We all know that. If he can just hit the ball on the ground on a consistent basis, he's going to be able to hit 300 no problem. The only issue is that he likes to strike out a lot, and he doesn't really hit the ball on the ground. This year, not a great year. 214 average, 279 on base, 268 slugging, 548 OPS. So I can't imagine that a team going after him would really use him any more than a pinch runner or a bench depth piece. He's still great defensively out in the outfield, so he's interesting to some teams that want some depth and maybe a defensive replacement late on in games. As for right field, there was a lot of different players that I could have picked, but I ended up landing on Yasiel Puig. The Reds seem to be out of the playoff hunt right now, 46-54 record, 8 back in the Central, not really competing right now, and Yasiel Puig is a free agent at the end of the year, and let's be honest, he has the playoff experience, he has a big bat, and despite a slow start to the season, he's actually playing pretty good baseball right now. In the month of July, he's hitting .343, he's got an OPS above 1,000. In the month of June, he had an OPS at .950, so if you look at those last 2 months, you might be able to get a player that can really make an impact on your team. Plus, his talent is absolutely through the roof. If you could ever hit that untapped potential, you have a star in the making on your hands. So far in 2019, Yasiel Puig has 22 home runs, 14 doubles, and a triple to give himself 59 RBIs, and he's also stole 13 bases thus far. 260 average, 310 on base, 492 slugging, and an 801 OPS. Defensively, he's okay, he's average. What he's great at is his arm, absolute cannon out there in right field. So in right field, I definitely have to go with Yasiel Puig, although I could have thrown in Castellanos, Cole Calhoun, there's a variety of different players. As for the final position, we're actually going to cover the DH spot, and the best player that you can get at the deadline that's a DH is Hunter Pence. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Hunter Pence actually has value at age 36 as a DH. DH. He's had a great year for the Rangers thus far. Made the All-Star team, which I was very happy about, after he battled through Winter League to get back into Major League Baseball. 15 homers, 15 doubles, 50 RBIs, 291 batting average, 345 on base, 564 slugging, and a 909 OPS. Those are numbers that translate. He's played about 20 games in the outfield this year, but you really don't want to stick him out there. Doesn't have much value defensively anymore. But for a team that could use a DH, needs some more power out of that spot, Hunter Pence could be the solution. So those are the best players at every position that I think are available at the trade deadline. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Am I an idiot? Let me know in the comment section down below. Remember to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it. That's the best way to show your support. If you love baseball, click that sub button. Like I said, we have some big videos planned the next few days. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links in the description. And of course, head on over to SeatGeek if you need any tickets. $20 off. Use the code Giraffe. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We are dangerously close to 100K. We're getting closer and closer every day. We're going to wrap it up here. YouTube recommends you watch this video right here, as well as this is the most recent upload. So click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another banger video.